Hello everyone. Hope you are doing well. I am Akshay Parmar, Assistant Professor at LJ Institute of Engineering and Technology in IT/IC department. Welcome to the video tutorial series of the data communication and the computer network. In our previous session, we have seen how we can send the data from sender side to receiver side, right? We have seen so many terminologies with regard to the data communication, right? So in this today's video, we will discuss which kind of network devices we are using to transfer our data from one end to another end, right? While we are sending the data from one end to another end, how our data is transferred from one device to the another device and which are they, we will discuss in brief. So let's begin with this today's session, the network devices. So in this session we will see so many network devices like NIC, network interface card, repeater, hub, switches, bridge, gateway, router and modem. That are the network devices which we are using for our data communication, right? We are sending the data from one end to another end. We are using these kind of network devices in between. Our data is passed through these kind of network devices, right? So let's discuss one by one of them. So first of all, let's begin with the network interface card. So network interface card, what is that? That is the hardware component that connects your computer to the local data network or the internet. The devices that takes a signal from network and convert into this signal that computer can understand and the translate that computer data into the electrical signal, and it is sending through the network. The NIC provides an interface onto the network for the computer system. That network is usually an local area network LAN, and NIC is also known as the network interface controller, NIC, network interface controller, a card, expansion card, computer circuit board, network card, LAN card, network adapter or the network adapter card, NIC. That all are the synonyms for the NIC. And NIC is also known as the network interface controller, network interface controller card, expansion card, computer circuit board, network card, LAN card, network adapter card, NIC, and that are the synonyms for the NIC. Right? So whenever we are hearing that any of that term, we have clear idea about for which kind of hardware devices we are talking about, right? So the network interface card is the component that connects your computer to the network or the internet, right? After that, this is the example of the network interface card, right? It is a plastic circuit board. It is the size of the playing card. It has a several computer chips that processes the signal from the network and the PC. That card slides into the PC framework with the connector on the motherboard. A steel bracket holds the card in place. The bracket may have the network cable jack or an antenna. The bracket also has the LED that indicates the network status and the activity of that, right? So that the bracket also has the light emitting diode LED that indicates the network status or the activity. For the working of this NIC, we need a drivers. Driver is typically a software code that helps to run an NIC on that particular system, right? So whenever you are working with the NIC, you need a special kind of driver which will help you to work with that NIC. So basic functioning of the NIC. The NIC is working as a middleman or the interface between your computer and the data network. For an example, when you log into the website, the PC passes the site information to the network card, which converts the address into the electrical pulses. A network cable carries that pulses into the web server somewhere on the internet, which respond by sending the web page back to you. Once again, in the form of the electrical signal only, right? the card receive that signal and turn them into the data that your PC display, right? So that's how the NIC card is functioning, right? After that, it has mainly two types. The NIC has a two type. The one is the work with the Wi-Fi wireless network. That kind of card has having the antenna to send and receive the data of the wire radio wave. The another kind of the NIC is the wired Ethernet connection. That cable have the rectangular plug which made the jack on the network interface cards bracket, right? So there are mainly two types: the work with the Wi-Fi or wireless networks and the work with the wired Ethernet connection, right? So these are the two mainly type of the NIC card, right? After that, the repeaters. So repeaters operate at the physical layer. That's how the repeaters is look like. The repeater's job is to regenerate the signal over the same network before the signal becomes too weak or corrupted. The repeater extends the length to which the signal can transmit over the same network, right? An important point to be noted about the repeater is that they do not amplify the network, right? So if they are not amplifying the network, so which kind of the work they are having? When the signal becomes weak, they copies the signal bit by bit and regenerate it at the original strength, right? So that's how the repeaters are repeating its signal, right, before it is going too weak or corrupted. They are copy the signal by bit and regenerate it with its original strength, right, without amplifying them. That's how repeater is working. After that, the another kind of the device, hardware device, which is bridge there. This is the hardware device which is working mainly at the data link layer. The bridge provides the interconnection with other bridge network that uses the same protocol, right? The bridge provides the interconnection with other bridge network that uses the same protocol. The bridge is using to the connecting the two different networks together and providing the communication between them. Bridge are similar to the repeater and hub in the way they are sending the data in the broadcast manner, right? They broadcast the data to the every node. Bridge maintain the media access control MAC address table as soon as they discover the new segment. The bridge maintains the media access control address, the MAC address table, as soon as they discover the new segment. So the subsequent transmissions are sent to only to the desired recipients, right? So that's how the bridge is working. After that, the bridge uses the database to discover where to pass, transmit, or the discard the data frame. If the frame received by the bridge is meant for the segment that resides on the same host network, it will pass the frame to the node and the receiving bridge will then discard it, right? If bridge receives the frame whose node MAC address is of the connected network, it will be forward the frame towards it, right? So that's how the bridge is working. After that, another kind of the device is hub. This hub is mainly working as the physical layer. The hub is the hardware device which is working as the physical layer. The common connection point for the device in the network. Hub is the common connection point for the device in a network connect the multiple computer or the other network device together. The hub connect the segment of the LAN, local area network, right? The hub connects the segment of local area network LAN. It works as a repeater. It has no routing table or intelligence, right, on where to send the information. It simply so it is not intelligent enough, and if it is not maintaining the routing table, so how hub is sending the data? So how hub is working? It is simply broadcast all the network data across each of the connection. In the past, the network hub were very popular because they were really cheaper than as compared to the switch or router. So hub are widely used in the past, right? But today switch do not cost much more than the hub, and that are the much better solution for any of the network. So nowadays switches are replacing the hub then, right? So how the hub is working? The hub is simply broadcasting it's all the network. Hub are non-intelligent, right? So when the data is sent to the hub, it is automatically pass it into the every computer or the devices on the network. The hub is simply broadcasting the data to the each and every devices, right? So that's how the hub is working, right? So the hub has a mainly two type nowadays, the LAN hub and the USB hub. In the LAN hub there are the RJ45 connection there, and in the USB hub there are the USB port there, right? So that's how the hub is mainly two types, right? After that, how the hub is working, right? So how the network hub is work? The hub is an inexpensive way to connect devices on the network. The data travels around the network in the packets, and hub forward that data packets out to the all the devices connected to its ports, right? So each and every device which is connected with the hub is receive that data packet which is coming toward that hub, right? As the hub distribute the packets to every devices on the network, when the packet is destined for the only one device, every other device connect to the hub receive that packet, right? The sometimes it is slower down the network because of the traffic collision, as hub is simply broadcasting the data. Another kind of the network device is the switch, the high speed device that receive the incoming data packet and redirect them into their destination on the network, on the local area network. A LAN switch operates at the data link layer or the network layer of the OSI model, right? A switch, however, keeps a record of the MAC address of the all the devices that are connected to the switch. The switch also run in the full duplex mode, right? So that's how the switch is working. After that, how the switch is working? The switch is reading the incoming TCP/IP data packets or frame containing the destination information as they passed into one or more input points. The destination information in the packet is used to determine which output port will be used to send the data on its intended destination, right? Node to node communication in the same network is done with the help of the switch, right? So with the help of the switch, node to node communication is happening in the same network. So some similarity between the switches and the hub. The switch are the similar to the hub but smarter than the hub. Hub is simply, what is the function of the hub? The hub is simply connects all the nodes on the network communication in the broadcast, resulting the many collision there. But switch is smarter than the switch. On the other hand, create the electric tunnel between the source and the destination port. No other traffic can enter in that tunnel only, right? So that's how the switches is smarter compared to the hub, where the hub is simply broadcasting its packets to the all of the network. So all the networks are receiving that information, right? But whenever you are using the switch, the switches is making the electronic tunnel between that source and the destination. So no other devices can receive that data, right? So that is the basic difference between that switches and the hub. The most famous network device is the router there, right? Which is working as the network layer, right? The router is a device like switch that routes the data packet based on their IP addresses. Router normally connects the LAN and the WAN together, or LAN and its internet service providers network. For an example, your PC and your ISP provider. If you are having an internet connection from, for an example, you are having an GTPL broadband connection at your home. So the connection between your PC and your ISP, we are using the router in between. The ISP is giving its line the router, and with the help of the router we can access that internet to the our PC and other devices. The router have the dynamically updating routing table based on which they make the decision of the routing of the data packets. Routers are located at the gateways, the place where two or more network connect. Router uses the data packets headers and forwarding the tables to the determine the best path for the forwarding the packets, and they use the protocols to communicate with each other and configure the best route between the any two hosts, right? That is decided by the router only. After that, the gateway as the name suggests, it is the passage to connect two network together that may work upon the different networking models. They basically work as the messenger agent that takes the data from one system, interpret it and transfer it to the another system. Gateway are also called the protocol converter, and it can operate at any network layer. The gateway are generally more complex than switches or router, as it is converting the protocol. Gateway serves as the entry and the exit point of the network. All the data routed inwards or outward must be first passed through and communicate with the gateway in order to use the routing path. Generally, a router is configured as a work as a gateway devices in the computer network. The gateway or the default gateway is implemented at the boundary of the network to manage all the data communication that is routed internally or externally from the network. Beside the routing packets, gateway also possesses the information about host network's internal paths, right? That's how the gateway is working. After that, the channel service unit and the data service unit, the CSU and the DSU. That devices is the hardware devices about the size of the external modem. It converts a digital data frame from communication technology used on the LAN into the frame appropriate to the wide area network and the vice versa, right? For an example, if have a leased a digital line to a phone company or a gateway at the internet service provider, you have a CSU or a DSU at your end, and the phone company or a gateway host has the CSU or DSU at its end. The channel service unit receives the channel service unit receives and transmits the signal from and to the WAN line and provides a barrier for the electronic interface from either side of the unit. So that's how CSU and DSU is working. After that, the modem. So modem is the short for the modulator or the demodulator, right? It is the hardware component that allows a computer or other devices such as a router or a switch to connect to the internet. It converts or modulates an analog signal from telephone or a cable wire to digital signal that a computer can recognize. Similarly, it converts an outgoing digital data from computer or other device to the analog signal also. The first modem were dial-up, meaning they had to dial a phone number to connect to a ISP. This modem operate over the standard analog telephone lines and uses the same frequency as telephone call, which limited their maximum data transfer rate to the 56 kilobyte per second, 56 kbps. Dial-up model also required a full use of the local area network line, meaning the voice call would interrupt the internet connection, right? So the modern modem are the typically DSL or the cable modem, which are considered as a broadband device. The DSL modems operate over the standard telephone lines but uses the wider frequency ranges. This allows for the higher data transfer rates than the dial-up modem and it enables them to interfere with the telephone calls, right? So that's how the modern modem are working. So that all are the network devices which we are using for while we are transferring data from sender side to receiver side, right? So that's all about today's session. Thank you for the watching.